Hi, so today I'm chatting to my husband, and we're both going to talk about how it feels to get older and what it means to us because I'm 41 and he turned 42 yesterday. So we're going to chat about aging.
Okay. Yeah.
So, how do you feel about aging?
I'm in denial. I like to think that in my head, I'm younger than I actually am, um, because I feel that as you get older, your body you feel it more in your body than you do in your mind, and your body reminds you of how old you are actually starting to get. What about yourself? What do you think about aging?
Well, to be absolutely honest, I know that many people embrace aging and they feel like, oh wow, this is just wonderful. It's just another chapter of my life. But I felt sad when I turned 40. I did. I felt like, oh wow, I am no longer young. And it took a while for me to adjust to being at this part of my life. So I know that every birthday is important and every birthday is special, but at the time of turning 40, I did feel like life is different. At this age, life is different.
What are some of the things that you've noticed as you started to age gracefully?
Gracefully. A few gray hairs. And again, like I know that many people, they wear the gray hair proudly, and that's wonderful. Uh, but for me, it was also quite startling to see a few gray hairs, and I did take them out. And I mean, you also turned gray, and how do you feel about that? Have you embraced it?
I think I've had no choice really. I think as a man, I think it's easier to have grey hairs, because people think that you're more wise. It's like the perception of wearing glasses, and people think you're more intelligent than you may actually be. So having grey hair, I think is easier for a man because it's more acceptable to a certain point though, because a lot of people do dye their hair. A lot of older men do dye the grey hair.
Yeah, I mean, like when you think about men and gray hair, you hear, oh, he's a silver fox, and men as they age, people think that they look attractive, whereas with women, it's like, okay, she's older, you know, the value of an older woman, an older man, I don't know whether
Yeah.
it's the same.
So at what point will you say, okay, I'm going to leave the grey hairs?
I don't know yet. I mean, it's fine for people who want to have gray hair, continue to have their gray hair. But if you feel more confident by changing the color of your hair from gray to another color, then go ahead, you shouldn't do what anybody else is doing. You should do what you want to do. So if I one day decide, okay, I'm ready to be gray, then that's fine. But if I want to continue to have black hair or I want to change it to another color, I should be able to do that too.
Okay. So what other things have you noticed that age has forced you to now notice?
Well, when I was younger, you know, in my 20s, I used to go clubbing. I used to go out on a Wednesday, a Friday, and a Saturday, 3 times in a week. And I just had boundless amounts of energy. Uh,
You could do that now.
no, but right, like now, the only club I'm going to is like Club Bed. So it's different energy levels, of course, and you know, bit of problem sleeping at night. So those kind of things. And yourself?
I think it's pain in my knees and my back, and I think it's something which I feel okay. I can't really ignore anymore. I could feel it, and then I could just try to ignore it and get on with the day, but then you start to feel it more and more. So I need to maybe look at taking some supplements.
Yeah, I mean, even like when you are going to certain places, like when you're going outside for a walk, it's so lovely to see that people of all ages are so active, you know. And as you get older, you really do appreciate your health a lot more. You don't take anything for granted health-wise.
Yeah. Well, some people say that age is all in your mind. It's just a number. Do you think that's true?
I think I actually learned that there's something called positive aging, which means that you are getting older, yes, but you are living a good life, you're living a healthy life, you are going out for your walks, you are being around joyful people, you have a high happiness level, which helps a lot as you get older and you're facing challenges. But I think sometimes you can be 70 years old and you can feel younger than even a 30-year-old, maybe because you are happier with your life. So it can differ from individual to individual, but definitely you cannot deny that as you get older, certain things are happening to your body.
Okay. And so we've looked at the idea of, like, for men it's a bit more acceptable. What about in the media and movies and TV shows? What do you think about how aging and being old is represented?
Well, I mean, even like, for example, if you have a 60-year-old man and then he marries someone much younger, like a 20-year-old, it's more acceptable than a 60-year-old woman marrying somebody who's like a 20-year-old.
Why is that, do you think?
I think because men are seen as being able to do what they want, and there's no the stigma isn't as bad as it is for a woman, you know, to have a younger partner. There's a stigma about an older woman. I think it's like, oh, you're old, you shouldn't really be seen much, you can't really do anything that you want to, there's an age, you have to dress at a certain way. But really, who's to say what a person should be wearing? If a woman wants to dress a certain way, if she wants to have a certain haircut, if she wants to have a certain look, then by all means she should be free to do what she likes.
Okay. So do you have a plan for old age?
Well, that's the thing, you know, you go through your years and you're not actively thinking about being old at a certain point. You're not actively thinking, oh, what happens to me when I am 70 or 80? But what I've started realizing is that, you know, when our lives turned upside down a few years ago with the global thing that happened, then you started thinking about death. You started thinking that, you know, this is definitely going to happen for every person, including yourself. And that actually it's a blessing to get to an old age because not everybody does.
Yeah.
I mean, during that time, people who were in their 30s were passing away. You know, it shifted my mindset about life and death, and that you shouldn't be embarrassed to say your age. You shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm now 70 years old and I want to say I'm 50.
But I think it's easy because society has so many expectations that you should have hit some certain milestones by certain ages, that if you have achieved those things, then you would be okay to say your age. But if you haven't met those expectations, then do you think people find it more difficult to say what their age is?
I think a lot of people have regret. Like they think, okay, if I reach 40, I should have achieved these things. But the thing is, okay, if you've reached 40, for example, and you haven't achieved the things that you wanted, you still have time. You know, you still have time to actually strive towards those dreams. Your life isn't over.
Yeah, that's if that's what you want, or if that's what you think society wants, what you thought you should have by that point. And I think as you get older, you kind of let that go, because you realize that's not really that important, because you're living your day to day, not other people. So you have to really think about what you want, what you like. So I think there's an adage that, you know, as you get older, you're more wise.
Yes.
But I think that's because, in my personal opinion, that's because you just let go
Yes.
of all of those expectations.
Yes.
Because you realize, hey, time is running out.
Yes.
So I don't have time to waste on that energy. I don't have time to waste my energy on those thoughts. So you focus on what's really important to you.
Yeah, and I mean, like when you're younger, in your 20s, you think, oh, a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old has it figured out by that point. But I mean, from our experience, we're still figuring things out. It's not like you reach a certain age and it's like, Eureka, I understand everything. No, it's still processing life events and figuring out life. It doesn't actually stop. You're still thinking through things.
Yeah. And so if you could go back to your 20-year-old self, what would you tell yourself about aging, getting older?
Well, I would say, firstly, I'm a planner by nature. So I would say, yes, plan, but don't plan that much. Enjoy things, be present, really be present. Plan for your future, but enjoy the now, take care of your health. Like I enjoy doing the 10,000 steps a day. I try my best to do that. And, don't worry about other people's expectations of you. Do what makes you happy. Make sure that it's not destructive behavior, of course, but do what makes you happy.
Yeah. I mean, saying do what makes you happy is quite easy to say. You could say that to your 20-year-old self, but what could you make yourself really believe that now that you have all of this experience?
Well, it's like finding out, what do you really enjoy about life? What do you want from life? And that takes time. And once you know those things, have more of that in your life. For example, if you're a person that really loves traveling, then travel more. Don't wait till retirement age to travel. Yes, it can be expensive, but you can find ways around it as well. You can go and teach in Asia, for example. So you can combine getting an income with teaching as well. Or you can be an au pair. So don't wait until a certain age to do something. If you can do it when you are younger, then definitely do so.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think it's also about not being afraid to make mistakes, which is a bit ironic because when you're younger, in your 20s, you can, I mean, from my personal perspective, I felt scared about making mistakes, about doing the wrong thing. But you have enough time to recover when you're younger. So make loads of mistakes.
Yes.
As long as they're not destructive to your health.
Yes.
But make those mistakes, have new experiences, have new adventures, challenges. And I think that will really help you to grow as a person. And even when you're older as well, like don't be scared to take risks. If you want to learn dancing or if you want to go somewhere, even if it's by yourself.
Yes.
I think there's a bit more acceptance, I think, as you're older to go to the restaurant or go to the movies or go and see something by yourself. But when you're younger, you feel, I need some companionship.
Yes.
Because people will think it's a bit strange. But then by thinking like that, you miss out on those experiences.
That's true. And also, I would say that sometimes you think, okay, this is your path and you can't take any detours, you're going to study, for instance, and then you're going to get a job, and then you're going to get married, and then you're going to have 2 kids, and that's it. But you can't deviate from your path. And that's not a horrible thing to do. You may enjoy the path that you go into different directions, and then you come back to that path. So there's not a perfect way of doing things. As long as you are able to find peace and contentment with the direction that you are heading in, that's okay. You don't have to do what person A or B is doing. For example, a lot of times when you're younger, you may think, I have to study a specific thing because that brings me loads of money.
Yeah. And also, that's a good point. And also, What was I going to say? And also,
That's old age.
so yeah, I know.
Joking.
And also,
Forgetfulness.
yeah, we're talking about that. So, like, as a man that's getting older, you know, I'm expecting to have those more aches and pains, but from a woman's perspective, apart from those things, is there anything else that you're preparing yourself for?
Well, yes, there's perimenopause and menopause, and you have symptoms like brain fog where you become really forgetful, and then a lot of women go on to hormone replacement therapy. So just educating myself about those things as well.
Is it fair that women have to go through more changes than men as they age?
I don't think it's a matter of fairness, it's just a matter of those are the biological things that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, men are also processing aging and getting older. And, at the end of the day, as we get older, people that we love who are also much older than us are also getting ill, also passing away. And it's sad and it's a lot to go through.
If you think about how you start off as a baby, then you're a toddler, then you're a child, then you're a teenager, then you're a young adult, then you're an adult. And then for that period of time that you're an adult until you're old, it's quite a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you just become old.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out, okay, and it's often this is the last stage of your life.
Yes.
And that can be quite emotionally stressful as
Yeah.
well. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it can be emotionally stressful. I mean, we haven't really thought, okay, if we get to like 80 years old and if we need care, what happens? We haven't had discussions around that. And also, like, when I was younger, I would think, okay, when I'm 50, I'm like going to be like, or 40, I'm going to be this very, very different person. Yes, I have changed over the years, but intrinsically, I'm still me, and as are you. So your age may show a certain number, but to you, you're still the same person, slightly changed, but still you. So when I was younger as a kid, when my parents were like 40, I thought of them as old people. But that like narrative is also shifting. Like they say 40 is the new 20, etc. I don't really know how true that is. But that's definitely different now because also people are living to a much older age right now. I mean,
That's true. Yeah.
before, like years ago, many years ago, life expectancy was what, like 30s or 20s, late 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
So it's quite different now. So thank you for watching, firstly. And what do you feel like? What age are you? And what do you think about aging? What do you think about getting older? And let us know in the comments below. And thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.